First of all, thank you everybody for giving a part of your Monday evening for this annual meeting. It is, per our bylaws, for the last 32 years, the first Monday of June. So we were following through on that. The last 2 years, we've been online in Zoom format. Hopefully next year we'll be back in person. But at many of all of our meetings this last year and lectures have been online with Zoom. And that has worked pretty effectively. So again, thanks for everybody for coming. Tonight is really a night of celebration. We've got many accomplishments to talk about tonight, as well as awarding scholarship winners, Village Association Challenge winners, and library donations. So we have a mix of attendees. We're expecting several more to join us in the next few minutes. But I wanted to, at the outset, thank you to Carolyn Newman. She has put in weeks on this PowerPoint presentation. It is her third year doing so. She has kept all the directors very organized and given us our parts and collected all kinds of data, and you'll really appreciate what she has put together for us here tonight. Also, I do want to mention this is the first annual meeting where we have incorporated a Going Green lecture. That is going to be after the annual meeting, so in about 45 minutes, give or take. We will be having a real treat tonight. A climate simulation tool by member Roger Ingersoll. And I know Roger's already joined us this evening. So stay tuned. We expect that around 8 o'clock. We will have about a 10-minute break between the annual meeting and before we get to the lecture later this evening. All right, what else do I want to cover? So I guess I'm going to turn this over to my cohort. For the last year, I have had the pleasure of partnering as co-president with Paul Nelson. Now, a little history on twisting Paul's arm. He was a solo president for several years, and I was a president back in the 90s. And as we scrambled to think who during this odd year with the pandemic and Zoom meetings as an officer could we look to, and we came up with this idea of co-presidency. I'll let Paul speak for himself, but I twisted his arm to hang on for one more year as co-president with me, and it's been a real pleasure to have someone back you up. And with his knowledge base, I'm always leaning on him and relying on him. So thanks so much, Paul. And I'm going to turn any comments you might have.
I guess I was trying to think of the definition of co-president, but I really think and would like to thank Deborah, who did most of the work during this last year. I enjoyed being president. I wanted to thank the board that very supportive over the years that I was president. I'm pleased with, despite COVID and everything else over the last 3 or 4, I think we've done some great things and made some advances, which is always what an organization wants to do. Again, I want to thank Deborah for this past year because she's done such a great job of agendas and things like that. It made my job as so-called co-president really, really easy. And I've, like I said, I've appreciated the time, including this year, that I think we've accomplished a lot. Special thanks to Carolyn. I said tonight, this presentation is it's very unique, and I think it explains what we have done in 40 minutes. And I think you'll all enjoy seeing what she's put together. I just want to thank the board, obviously, and all the members that have made this past year success despite the hurdles and the COVID. I know it's been difficult for everybody, but I think we've done well considering. Especially thank Wendy, and I know I'll forget people, but I think Wendy has made a spectacular advance in our ambassador program. I don't know the exact numbers, but we went from from quite a few to a whole lot of students that are interested in, and I've always said it, say it again, that the future lies within those students. And the more we can get them involved, as she has done, the better off this planet's going to be in the future. I want to thank John during the lecture series, has always been patient with me and helped during the 7 or 8 lectures we've had over the year, and kind enough to host this and other meetings. That's been extremely helpful. And I think that's about it. I just wanted to thank everybody for all their work, and appreciate the members for coming tonight. And we always welcome ideas. As I've said, there's somebody in this organization that's interested in any aspect of sustainability, and we welcome anyone who has an idea that we can convert to a program or to an idea or to an effort. So thank you, Deborah, and I appreciate it very much.
Absolutely. And just one housekeeping item on any questions, ideas. We do have a chat. You look at the bottom of your screen, utilize that tonight. And I believe Paul is going to be monitoring that and bringing up questions at the end of the annual meeting in about 35, 40 minutes. So on that note, I'm going to turn it over to Carolyn.
Oops. Hello, everybody. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
And can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to give you an overview of some of the Woodlands Green activities and programs this past year, starting with our Going Green lectures. This is one of our most visible programs. In previous years, we've had these presentations in person, but of course, because of the pandemic, we've been on Zoom like everybody else. We do hope to resume in person soon at HARC, so please check our website and Facebook for the latest on that, and whether the venue will be in person or online. The season for these talks generally runs from September through May, but tonight, as Paul and Deborah mentioned, we do have a special event, the last event of the season. And tonight you'll be hearing from Woodlands Green member Roger Ingersoll, and he'll be presenting a climate simulation tool called En-ROADS. We expect that to start about 8 o'clock. Immediately, there'll be a short break following this annual meeting, so please stay tuned for that. Many of you may have been online to see our May lecture, which was just the week before last. Local resident and Bayou Land Conservancy volunteer Bill Bass presented a photographic journey of the Spring Creek watershed. It was a terrific presentation, full of beautiful images and lots of good information about the wildlife and trail network along Spring Creek. If you missed it, or any of our lectures, most of them, maybe not all of them, we may have missed a couple, but most of them are available to stream from our website. The other topics besides the photographic journey, you can see them listed here. We had information on invasive species and the impact of invasive plants and animals in this area. Also a great presentation by Conroe ISD on their solar arrays, one of which is operating and another one is planned. The last 2 topics, there's a couple topics on water issues, the USGS annual groundwater survey and the Galveston Bay report card. These are a couple of topics that we tend to repeat every year, and we believe we intend to keep doing that. So look for those updates when the lectures resume starting in the fall. And as always, please let us know if you have a topic that you would like to see. We'd love to have your input. You can reach us on a website or email us at info@thewoodlandsgreen.org. The Woodlands Green has been closely linked with the Woodlands community since our beginning back in 1989. We started with a different name. At that time, it was the Woodlands Recycles, and we were a group of residents running periodic neighborhood recycling drives with collection points at local village centers. By the early 1990s, community governance, which at the time was called the Woodlands Community Association, had taken over the hugely popular recycling program. And that was how curbside recycling happened for single family households throughout the Woodlands. It all started with the Woodlands Green. Eventually, the residents of the Woodlands voted, and the Woodlands became the Woodlands Township. And the Woodlands Green has had a formal mutual services agreement with the township ever since. And the Woodlands Green partners with the township in so many different ways. I've listed quite a few here, but there may be others that I've missed. And you'll hear a bit more about some of these programs tonight. This photo shows the Earth Day event in 1992. And I believe this was at the Grotus Mill Shopping Center. When George Mitchell envisioned to create this community of the Woodlands, and before any building began, he commissioned a study by an architectural firm in Philadelphia, led by Ian McHarg, whose team consisted of geologists, hydrologists, and design professionals. The 1970 report produced by McHarg's firm is a treasure trove of historical data, a lot of which should be of interest to many. For example, the report includes an extensive ecological analysis, including inventory of flora and fauna, analysis of hydrological considerations, including aquifers, and the value of natural drainage systems as compared to curb and gutter systems. We'd like to thank Woodlands Green member Rick Easton for donating his copy of the 3-volume report, which has been digitized. The electronic version is now ready to share and will be shared with the local libraries, the Woodlands Water Agency, and the local MEDS for starters. And if you would like a copy, just let us know. The Woodlands Green has been cleaning up the pathways and general area around Shadow Bend Park for many years. Led by member Wendy Packard, there has always been very good turnout even during the pandemic. What a great way to get outdoors, do a good deed, and meet like-minded people. A typical collection for a cleanup day at Shadow Bend Park might be 40 gallons of trash and 30 gallons of recyclables. You can see the students here are put in charge of sorting of the collections. We would love to see you at our next cleanup, which is Saturday, June the 26th at 9 a.m. Meet at the parking lot near the picnic pavilion at Shadow Bend Park. Student ambassadors, one of our favorite programs. The mission of student ambassadors is, well, it's a program to provide high school students with volunteer opportunities and recognition for their work on environmental stewardship and community education projects with the Woodlands Green and the Environmental Services Department of the township. Student ambassadors have inspired us and spurred us on in so many ways. Because of them, we've acquired a community garden plot to teach organic gardening principles and to donate harvest to the Interfaith Food Pantry. Student ambassadors have created our 30-year anniversary banner. Student ambassador activities led to a Boy Scout Eagle project and a Girl Scout Gold Award project for invasive species and storm drain marking. Student ambassadors also contributed to our repurposing fundraisers, where useful products are made out of repurposed materials, such as wine corks made into trivets. And many of our student ambassadors have gone on to careers in environmental engineering, forestry, and a number of science fields that study sustainable living. I mentioned storm drain marking. This is a brand new project, a collaboration of the township, Woodlands Water Agency, the local MEDS, and the Woodlands Green. The labels, which will be placed on the storm drains, are to remind folks to not dump anything down the sewer drains. Nothing should ever go down there except for rainwater. None of the rainwater or anything else that does go down that drain gets treated. It all goes direct to our local drainage ways. ponds, lakes, rivers, and eventually Galveston Bay. So please pick up after your pet and be sure to use lawn treatments cautiously and properly. The project was set to kick off in Grogan's Mill in April, but has been delayed numerous times because of all the rain. We expect the markers to eventually be applied to all storm drains in the Woodlands. And a hearty thank you to Terry MacArthur for coordinating this project. It's an easy, great outdoor project for families and small groups, and you can mark as many or as few storm drains as you like. We'd love to have you join us. And kudos to Girl Scout Noelle Harris, who is working on the coordination efforts in her Mud 6 as part of her Golden Work project. Hooray for that. Just this past April, the month of Earth Day and bees and butterflies and blooms, the Woodlands was recognized as a Monarch Champion City by the National Wildlife Federation. We are only the 10th municipality in the United States to achieve this status, and it exemplifies our community's commitment to environmental stewardship. This achievement has truly been a grassroots collaboration. You can see many of the partners listed here. We give credit to our friend Kendall Clark of Pollination. It was her personal passion for pollinators that started this project. She is shown in the center of this photo. Kendall and several members of the Woodlands Green were recognized at a recent township board meeting. And in just a couple of minutes, you'll hear about a pollinator park project in Sterling Ridge that is a great example of how this community is working to help the monarchs. The Woodlands Green has been working garden plots at Bear Branch Park for 4 years now, with a second plot recently acquired. Thanks to Dick Herrick for coordinating the gardening effort, and thanks to Woodman Life for their generous donation of support. You are welcome to join the garden crew, even if your thumbs are not green. And as mentioned, we donate our harvest to the Interfaith Food Bank. We've had a whole lot more folks buy rain barrels since the pandemic, the beginning of 2020. Everybody's doing a lot more projects around the house and yard, and we sure appreciate it. All of the proceeds go to support our mini program, our student ambassador program, high school, library donations, and other projects to encourage and support good environmental stewardship. Thanks to our long-term partners, the township, Rainwater Solutions, and Woodlands Water. If you need a barrel, please visit our website. There are videos to help us set up, and we'd be happy to answer any questions. The Invasive Species Task Force has been active since 2018. This group of Greenbelt Guardians has increased dramatically from approximately 100 hours of volunteer time in 2018 to more than 1,000 hours last year. Well over 100 individuals have participated, and more than 177 cubic yards of material has been collected. The effort started in Grogan's Mill, but the volunteers have also worked in Indian Springs, Cochran's Crossing, Panther Creek, and Alden Bridge. These are the areas most heavily infested with some of the invasive plants we have been targeting. Air potato, shown here, is one of the most problematic, but also tallow trees, elephant ears, nandina, and climbing fern. Contact us at info@thewoodlandsgreen.org if you'd like to help. A big thank you to our strategic partners. We greatly appreciate their significant financial and in-kind contributions and their commitment. Partner of the Woodlands Green, please let us know. We can provide you details on benefits, such as branding at some of the bigger events. We also want to thank our business members, many of whom are with us tonight. We love to have local businesses and nonprofits join us, and we welcome them to participate in our activities. And we often participate in their activities. Let's find a way to work together. These logos shown here are arranged with some of our newest members across the top. And our long-term small business relationships are shown at the bottom. We encourage everyone to visit these businesses and tell them thank you for supporting the Woodlands Green. One final slide to recap our year. We've had considerable print media coverage this year. You can often find calendar items in the village, primarily to let you know about our Going Green lectures, but we also had a few larger stories. On the left is the story of the Invasives Task Force working in Shadow Lake Marsh recently. That's Alan Selmer and Woodlands Green member Chuck Houston girdling a large tallow tree. And there is Paul Nelson and other Green members in the background to make sure they're doing it right. Also, a couple stories on Going Green lectures. Galveston Bay report card in February, and the January lecture on the Conroe ISD solar projects. That was probably our best attended lecture in the Zoom era. I think we had over 50 people attending. And I wanted to highlight the story on Colson Tough Elementary School and their Fun Run fundraiser, the Race for Awareness. The staff and students chose to donate proceeds of last year's fundraiser to the Woodlands Green to fund a new pollinator garden at Sterling Ridge Park and Ride. That is such a neat project. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to John Geiger to tell you more.
Thanks, Carolyn. Yeah, pretty exciting project that the Woodlands Green and the township have been partnering on. And we're very close to finally breaking ground on that. Carolyn, do you want to, there we go, thanks. Yeah, so this is the grand vision, which is to convert multiple acres of turf grass at the Sterling Ridge Park and Ride to rich, beautiful pollinator habitats. And we'll do that through native plants and trees, nectar and host plants, milkweed, and interpretive signage. So not only provide much needed support for pollinators, we can add beauty, save water, mowing, and inspire and educate visitors all at the same time. A very exciting project. Phase 1 kicks off this year, as I noted. That's going to be, if you want to forward the slide there, Carolyn. That's going to be in the northeast corner, right by the entrance. It's a ½ an acre. And I want to give special thanks to Colson Tough Elementary Race for Awareness. I don't know if you took note of that newspaper headline, but it said Colson Tough finds a way to make Race for Awareness happen despite COVID. And they did exactly that. They have an annual fundraiser. This year, it didn't look good, or last year rather, didn't look good because of COVID, but they were determined and they held a fantastic event and they raised over $20,000 for the project. So it's definitely a joint partnership. We're really excited to bring it in this year. I guess I'll just take us right into the scholarship award winners.
Yeah.
All right. So each year, the Woodlands Green awards multiple scholarships to area seniors who demonstrated dedication to the environmental health and sustainability through the volunteer efforts in college degree curriculum. I have to say that reviewing these applications is definitely one of the most rewarding aspects of serving on the Woodlands Green board. Learning about these students, their talents, accomplishments, and their care for the natural world never fails to boost my optimism. And this year was certainly no different. We had four very special, deserving scholarship award winners And we want to recognize those four tonight. Let's start off with Nicholas Harris. So Nicholas is a graduate of John Cooper School, and he's going to be studying economics and environmental studies at Dartmouth. So he was a Woodlands Green student ambassador, also a multi-sport athlete, a member of Interact, student to student, National Honor Society, student government, honor council, and is an Eagle Scout to boot. And his Eagle Scout project was really cool. He led invasive species removal, which is something that you saw earlier is particularly near and dear to the heart of the Woodlands Green. Congratulations. Kirsten Reyes, and I think Kirsten's joining us tonight. Thanks for joining us, Kirsten. So Kirsten attended Woodland Senior High. She's going to be studying architecture and environmental design at the University of Houston. Kirsten is also a student ambassador with the Woodlands Green, as well as a member of Eco Club, National Honor Society, Spanish National Honor Society, Art National Honor Society, and Skills Architecture Club. And one of Kirsten's educational goals is to figure out how to use plastics and other trash sourced from the ocean to produce low-cost building material to support affordable housing. Cool stuff. Congratulations, Kirsten. Next, we have Abe Ajaleme. Abe attended Woodlands High. He's going to enter MIT this fall, studying aerospace and environmental engineering. I think Abe is with us tonight. Welcome. So Abe wants to be a satellite engineer and collect data that can help us better understand and address environmental issues. In high school, Abe participated in NASA's High School Aerospace Scholars Program, Chamber Concert Orchestra. Chamber and Concert Orchestra, soccer, robotics club, Harvard's Introduction to Computer Science, the EFTA Internship Program, Awana Bible Study Club, National and Science Honor Society, and numerous technical projects. And best of all, Abe prepared 40% of his family's meals by his own estimation, while also doing the laundry and mowing the yard regularly. Congratulations, Abe. I'm quite certain you're going to go on to great things. And Ethan Yu, last but certainly not least, another deserving award winner here. Ethan graduated from College Park High School Academy of Science and Technology. He's an accomplished competitive swimmer and violin player, a member of National Chinese Honor Society, an envirothon competitor, co-founder of his church's Rooted Leadership Team. And Ethan spearheaded an effort this past spring to raise 6 tons of food and $11,000 in donations for COVID relief. Ethan's headed to UT for a degree in biochemistry with a minor in environmental science. He's excited about scientific research and a career involving environmental conservation. Great work, Ethan. Congratulations. So we'll be mailing each student their scholarship award certificate, a copy of a college scholarship check, and college letter, and then additionally for Nicholas and Kirsten, who were student ambassadors, you're going to get this swanky Woodlands Green hat. And again, one more time, just fantastic work, highly competitive body of applications, very well deserved awards this year.
And I'll second that. Congratulations to you for it. Well-deserved, and best of luck with your college and career plans. I am coming up next. I did want to make one comment about year-to-date 16 years of college scholarships. As I have written, I think all the checks over these 16 years, that is $58,000 going to colleges. And we have had in the past three awards, and I think at our 30th anniversary we had 5, but to have 4 awards this year, we were very proud of all these students. But I wanted to give that sense of history. We have been supporting college scholarship programs for a lot of years and plan to do so in the future. So turning over to library donations. I think we have a librarian or two with us this evening. We have given donations to the Woodlands Libraries for close to 20 years. And obviously we had just the one South Regional Library until Mitchell came about. And once the new library came to be, we started giving a donation to both libraries for the purpose of environmental books and media. And I'm recognizing tonight the branch managers, Lynn De Leon and Amber Fritzl. They have generously agreed to help in the selection of books. They are far better with expertise on selecting materials throughout their daily work. And they provide us a list of environmental books that have been purchased. The 2020 purchases have been a little bit delayed due to COVID, but they're assembling the list for us now, and another $1,000 will be going to each library this week. Thanks so much to Lynn and Amber for all they do in getting our materials on the bookshelves. Very much appreciated. Now we're going to move over to Village Association challenges. John, over to you again.
Thanks. Each year, the Woodlands Green partners with the township on multiple village challenges that are all aimed towards sustainability in our community. In November each year, the Woodlands Green and the township host the 3R drive-through recycling event, which is an annual recycling collection and education event. In 2020, we collected styrofoam, textiles, eyeglasses, disposable razors, oral care products, and provided secure document shredding. And we also collected batteries as part of our village challenge item. So the villages that brought in the most batteries for recycling received cash donations for their scholarship funds. I should mention that funds awarded for all of these village scholarships do go to, or all these village challenges do go to the scholarship funds for those villages. So 3R, this year we gave out $4,600 total, and you can see the rundown on the villages there. Grogan's Mill came in first place with $1,000, Alden Bridge. In second at 850, College Park at 750, Creekside Park at 400, Cochran's at 4, Indian Springs at 4, Sterling Ridge at 4, and Kent at 4. Congratulations to all the villages, and appreciate all the work you did to make that recycling event successful. It certainly was this last year. Birthday Green Up happens every March, and that's our community-wide litter clean event. This year, even with the challenges that COVID presented, we still had a highly successful year. Over 750 volunteers out there collecting over 4 tons of litter from our parks and pathways, and helping to make that event as successful as it is every year. The villages, helping to recruit folks and support our stations, our volunteer stations, advertise the event. And so we are happy to give out $300 to each of the 8 villages this year for a total of $2,400 for Earth Day Green. And then finally, we have the WaterWise Village Challenge. So if you're unfamiliar, the WaterWise Village Challenge is a challenge to see which village can gain the most pledges in households to turn off their automatic sprinklers between the months of October 15 and April 15, which not only saves a tremendous amount of water, but is also important for maintaining the health of your ground. So we get hundreds and hundreds of pledges each year, and the villages again are instrumental in securing those pledges. We're happy to reward them for their efforts in helping us save water and raise awareness of conservation. You can see the 3 winners this year. College Park came in first with the most pledges per capita per household there at 750, Creekside Park at 500, and Alden Bridge in third place at 250 for a total of $1,500. And I again want to give a thank you to our strategic partners who fund these challenges. We support sustainable initiatives and education for our community on a variety of fronts. So it's worth thanking them yet again. Centerpoint Energy, HEB, Chevron Phillips, Howard Hughes, and Woodland Water. All right.
All right, I think I've got the next couple of sections. We're going to go to behind the scenes recognition. These are Woodlands Green members that do so much every week of the year. And let's kick off with Steve and Judy Easton, longtime members of the Woodlands Green. They both were on the board of directors years ago. And we so much thank all that they do. When you receive a Dragon Circuit newsletter in the fall and receive one via email in the spring, that Steve and Judy are pulling that together and doing so professionally, and do so for, I'd say, over a decade now. So we have much to be thankful for all their work. In addition, Judy Easton is behind the scenes helping with membership. Every time we receive your renewal in the mail, Judy is updating your membership information. If you move, if there's been any changes, Judy's in the know and keeps it nicely on a spreadsheet for us all. So we thank them both. Then David Hitchcock is our website guru, and he has helped us for years now. And along with Cinda, they are lifetime members of the Green. I should mention Cinda Hitchcock was our past president for many years and continues to help behind the scenes, as well as David. So we thank you both, and just want to make sure you realize how much you're appreciated. Then we've got a couple of faces that you might not be as familiar with. Zoe Killian has joined the Green, and she also works in the Environmental Services Department. She is helping out now with webpage and social media, much needed to keep track of, and she's doing a bang up job. We so appreciate what Zoe is doing for us. At the bottom of the page is Terry MacArthur. Many of you know Terry. She is a lifetime Woodlands Green member. She also works at Environmental Services. And Terry has stepped up to be the business member liaison for us. We have a number of new businesses that have joined in the last year due to Terry's work, getting the word out, and we much appreciate all that she's doing. So she is in the lead now, and if you know of a small business that you know is helping out with the environment and want to spread the word about them, give a call to Terry or info@thewoodlandsgreen.org, and we will route it to her. We very much appreciate what you're doing, Terry. All right, well, we've talked about Paul Nelson before. He's my cohort partner, co-president this year. Paul will be continuing in his role as a Going Green lecture coordinator, but he's ready to pass the hat on being president after doing so for so many years. But we do appreciate all that you've done with us, Paul. His family is a lifetime membership. We see Taylor a lot also at the garden and working in invasives. It's a true family effort, and we appreciate all that you do. Leaving us this year after 2 years as a director and 2 strange years, we had our first high school director on the board, Beth Verghese. And so Beth is really met with this virtually for well over a year. In the first year, just kind of getting our feet wet with having a high school member on our board. John Geiger has been her mentor and guide for these 2 years. We thank him in working with Beth and kind of forging this new director position. As we do put a lot of our focus on working with the youth, we felt it was important to bring a high school director onto the board. So stay tuned as Beth moves on, and she's headed to Boston College in the fall. We will be looking at another high school director or directors coming up in the fall. Again, our thanks to Beth and congratulations as she moves on to Boston College. All right, a lot of words I could talk to you about Wendy Packer and family. They have been Green members since 2002, long-time family membership, lifetime family membership. She's our guru coordinator of Adopt a Path. And then also she heads up our Student Ambassador Committee. And that's with a lot of students, and she has a high school student as well, to keep them all organized and keep the committee on track. So we thank everything that Wendy's doing behind the scenes and keeping us well organized. Steve Gorman, when you receive that e-news blast a couple times a month, Steve is behind the scenes getting that e-news out to you. So we want to give him special thanks for all he's doing behind the scenes. Not mentioned here, he is a director, but he's also the treasurer that I work with every month to keep our bookkeeping up to date. So thanks to you, Steve, for all that you do. Kathy Herrick, everybody knows Kathy. She is a lifetime family member with Dick Herrick, decades of service to the township and the Green. She has been our secretary for many, many years, and she's going to pass that on to someone else, but stays on as certainly as the director and Invasive Species Task Force. She is our head honcho with that, and her Green Guardians, keeping all of us organized, working on invasives these last 3 years. So thanks for all that Kathy's doing behind the scenes, and we appreciate you. And that's a good segue over to Kathy on our election. We have alternating years, 2-year terms for elected board of directors. And this year we had a few more with a vacancy that was created after a retirement from Rob Dushek. So we have a slate of 5 here, Kathy, we'll talk about.
As secretary of the board, current board, I would like to present to you the 5 members that are up for election. You received, at least current members received their proxy and bios via mail, but Marianne Braid, Paul Nelson, Carolyn Newman, and Deborah Wymore are up for a renewal of their 2-year terms. And then Wendy Packer is filling out the 1 year of the member that Rob Dushek that had to resign. I am pleased to offer that we had a over 60% response from our members endorsing all of these candidates for the Woodlands Green Board in 2021-2022. And that meets our minimum requirement of 25% of the board of the membership must consent. So congratulations, you are elected.
All right, thanks, Kathy. And just so everyone knows, we go through a process of every year of this election, and we have other members on alternating years that will go through election, and we also have appointed directors that will be selected tomorrow morning by the board of directors. If you have any interest in joining in a leadership role or as just a member, by all means, we are always looking for new blood, new energy to our group. So please, info@thewoodlandsgreen.org, direct it to any one of us. We'd be happy to talk to you about the Green membership and leadership positions as well. A number of us have been in this role a long time and always looking for new ideas and new leadership down the road. So keep that in mind. The other thing I'll wrap up before we take our break, before we get to the lecture tonight, just some housekeeping and a reminder, all awards and donation checks will be mailed out this week. Probably tomorrow or at the latest on Wednesday, those will be going out. So especially scholarship winners, if you're wondering, or your parents are wondering, have the checks, are they in the mail to the colleges? And you'll have a copy of that in your own mailbox this week, so you can kind of track the timing. I do find that colleges are very uneven throughout the summer. Some are pretty quick to respond and deposit your scholarship funds. Others might be a month or so. So do not panic. The check's in the mail and it's not on our end. We will be getting that out, like I said, in the next 2 days. As I understand, the village associations, all of your challenge checks are at the environmental services offices. And I think Zoe Killian sent out an email on distribution. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to turn this over to Paul to see if there's any chat or questions. We're just about to go on break, but if anybody has anything further they want to comment or has question on, Paul, you want to take over?
Thanks so much. Most of the chats have been a lot of thank yous and congratulations to our students, and I can't express how proud I am of them and this organization for helping them. I did want to say just finally that I think between this presentation and Deborah has started doing a recap of what Woodland Green does every month. Just wanted to express that the takeaway from me from this is that this organization is not just talk. We don't just preach. We don't try to spread the word except through action. I mean, in other words, we do. We're a group that does and goes out in the community and does activities and do activities that we can be proud of. And so I really want to thank everybody that's on this board and every member, that we're an organization that we walk the walk. And I think that's important, that it's important to me that we show people what we do, and we're busy from whether it be invasive species or scholarships or library or whatever. We're out there showing the public that we care about this community and that we're going to be doing it, and we would really like your help. That's all I have. And I really appreciate Carolyn and everything for the presentation. I hope everybody can take a little break and come back and see Roger's presentation.